And I'm back. Okay. A lot of shit's being said about paid protesters now, and a lot of people just don't get how bad it really is. Most people don't go to a protest and let alone pay attention to what actually happens. So I want to kind of tell two stories about that. The biggest one is Moms Demand Action. And early on in Texas, they would have uh, those cruising buses or uh, Enterprise rent a van, and they don't care. They're just renting vans. It's totally not their problem. But whenever Austin was having in session and had testimonials about bills and shit like that, legislation moving forward, Moms Demand Action was huge into it, right? And it started off small. But quickly they realized the more people you get there, the more the voice you have. And started off $25 gift certificate, went to 50, went to 75 real quick, and then they started doing things like checking driver's license whenever you get onto the bus. They're big against voter ID, but by God, to get paid, you better show your driver's license when you get on the bus. And then it escalated to matching shirts. Then it escalated from $100 or to $75 and up, depending on how long they were going to be and all that other shit, and where you came from. The pay scale went through the roof, and that's the biggest thing about it is the fraud, because you're not paid as an individual contractor. There's no IRS forms or anything like that. It's basically show up and here's your damn Target gift certificate or whatever, right? And most of them are paid through prepaid credit cards, mostly gift certificates. Sometimes they do visas with X on it or whatever. But then it slowly evolved to where, okay, here's your money. You don't get paid till you get on the bus to go back wherever the fuck you're at. And the last time they actually did it is in the Rotundra. They just formed lines and had people with checkboards writing everything out. And I stood in line with a couple other guys to see if we can get paid for fucking protesting. Obviously, we're there to counterbalance them, but see what the process is. And most people don't know because they've never done it. Holla! Well, then it became, if we're paying them, we can also tell them what to say. So they started printing out their cheat sheet on what their story is, right? Somebody sat there and typed it up, 300 fucking stories, who gives a shit? So Moms Demand Action was huge into this. Paying people to protest, showing up, state legislator, oh, look at this big kickback we're getting. Look how much. Well, yeah, they're all being paid 75 to on up to in a free T-shirt to protest. It's all bullshit. The second one, it was the not last Christmas, it was the Christmas before. It was in San Antonio, and it was the transgenders reading Christmas Story or something. Big plaza there in big show in San Antonio, and you had Antifa show up and all the protesters and shit. And the biggest one was there was a guy there. I don't know what his title was or whatever, but there was a conference going on, some national rifle association. It wasn't the NRA. It was like the hunters groups or something like that. And he was walking by, and he's just, I'm bored as shit. The cops are riding our ass. This crazy lady's fucking yelling shit at us. The feds were there with that Patriot Force or whatever. So I'm just bored as shit, ready to go. But then these two guys come walking over and started talking, and they were there about the conference or whatever, and they didn't like the fact that we were carrying assault rifles and wearing armor, and that wasn't a good look for them moving forward. And I was explaining to them, well, look, they're already setting the record for sniper rifles, because if you can use a scoped rifle to shoot a deer at 300 yards, you can fucking kill a cop, no problem, right? They didn't like that. And I said, look at these motherfuckers. And there was about 35 cops all on our side providing security. And there was this crazy lady threatening to kill us and raining and raving, spitting on us, doing everything but touching us, right? And I told her, you spit on me, I'm going to fucking knock you out. Naturally, I'm the only one she didn't fucking spit on. But the disassociation with the cops are there, for our protection bullshit. that the NRA and all these other gun groups are actually fighting for our rights. The protesters, look how big they are and all this other shit. And I said, look, you see that moving van right there on the side of the, and it was a big U-Haul, not Enterprise, it wasn't U-Haul, it was like a moving truck. I said, notice how all their signs are the same? I was like, what are the odds on everybody getting the same sign? Nah, I wouldn't spit on you either, bud. Try that without a spit. I said, look, this is all for show because the news people are here because it's a big event. I said 99% of the people over there aren't here for, they're not true believers. They're not paying their own way to show up, and if they are, they're locals. I said as soon as the news crew shuts down and goes inside and watches whatever, all this shit will stop. And about that time, the whistle went off, the megaphone came on, come to the truck, and everybody threw their damn signs in the back of the truck, and everybody stood in line with their ID to get their damn card. And there was like 15 people left. The Antifa people with fake guns had left, and all these other people. I said, you just saw it. You saw everything I saw. I explained everything to you, and you still don't believe it. And that's how entrenched people are. They truly will not acknowledge it, even if they see it. And that's the whole thing. It's like when you go to a Tea Party event, how fast they shut down. Or the squad car that comes by with the antennas, the surveillance car, they're matching whose phones are close together. And the issue with the cops is they're told, you know, play nice, you know, don't start shit most of the time. The cops are running their fucking mouths, but they're there for the city to stop anything from happening from our side, not their side. Because we've all seen cities and shit burned down and violence galore, and the cops not do a fucking thing about it. Because they're told to by these progressive groups what they plan on doing. It's all worked out in advance. What the line is, what the line isn't, where they set up, where we can't set up. Because they'll have no problem turning it over to the conservative groups and telling you, oh, it's a, what they call it, quadrant, through the, not the NSA, free speech quadrant or whatever. They try that shit and tell us we can't be there. But until you're actually on the ground going to a protest and seeing what actually happens, and that we're there because we're fucking there to fight the agenda and the progressive mind thought, and to show people what's really happening and interact with the public. Even when you tell them these people aren't true believers, they're getting paid for this shit, and most of the blue-haired, pink-haired people fucking are. But when it boils down to it, there might be only 15 of them that are there, when the other 250 are all getting paid for it. And it's a huge shell corporation set up by you-know-who that pays them, and everybody fucking leaves and everybody's happy. But they're not willing to fall on the sword for it. It's all a publicity stunt. So when somebody says they're actually paid to be there, it's not like a full-time job. There was another issue in Houston. I think it was after the George Floyd incident, was like a year old or something. Can't remember what it was. But the progressive group showed up, and they had all these fucking sandwiches and all these shirts and all these signs made up, but nobody showed up. So they went around and got all the homeless people in the area that wanted a sandwich to eat and wanted a clean shirt, and fucking propped them up and do this shit. But they picked a fight with us, and they picked a fight with the smallest woman in our group. And of course the cops chose what side to defend because they were told to. They didn't do their job. We were there first. We set up on the corner, and people actually acknowledged the cops in the city and everything, and the news people. They want the interaction because they want to catch what we're saying, not what the other side's saying. That's why it's always one-sided. Watch which way the money's going. We're all fucking idiots that believe in this shit, that show up on our own dime and not being paid to be there. And we're not homeless people looking for a sandwich and a free shirt, willing to hold a damn sign and can't answer a fucking question. 9 times out of 10, they sit there and talk to themselves the whole fucking time. So when somebody says they're paid to be there, it's not this huge underground network of people that protest. It's a fucking Craigslist. Hey, I need so many actors on this day, or I need this many people. And once they have that set up, and the word of mouth, it's not that hard to get people to show up for $150 fucking $150 in a free t-shirt. But most of their people are local. If Houston or something like that, they don't bus people in until it's a big event that's going to be on the news, and that's when they load up all the buses and come from every fucking city. We had one group that was from Lubbock and one was from Amarillo, showing up to what was that, Dallas or something. So it's these special interest groups preaching for the progressives. So when somebody says, well, we should support the cops, or they're not paid actors, everybody is. Every single fucking dick on the other side, 9 times out of 10, will be a paid actor. Whether they have a badge on, whether they have a Moms Demand Action shirt on. The Woodlands. That's another one I wanted to bring up. I live in Spring, Texas. Woodlands is 10, 15 minutes north. The park system there and the cops, the rangers, I forget, Shenandoah police, they hate fucking guns. And it's public park. Anybody can walk in there with a gun. It's irrelevant as hell. But they believe the parks are for the people as long as you believe in the progressive agenda. So they don't want people showing up with guns. They don't want counter protest. Oh, we have a what do they call it, permit says we can protest in the park. Well, the cops and the local city officials have no problem issuing a permit for a protest to go on, but you will never get a permit for being a counter protester. I stayed on the phone once with HPD for 3 days trying to get a signature sign off for it. March for Our Lives. That was it. Thank you, Bill for Texas. Bill. I just said Bill, my father's name. That motherfucker, Bill for Texas. Bill for Texas. He's been to a lot of it. And he's seen a lot of shit. So the Woodlands, right? Moms Demand Action's telling this sad story about black ladies up there telling about how her kid was killed in a gun-free zone at the Texas college, community college or whatever. Well, we're just standing there listening to the show, me and the girl that I was with. We just hopped in the car with guns and armor and drove up there and just to listen to the whole spiel. And she's giving this sad song, and this guy over here, this little black kid's laughing his ass off, 14, 15. And I was like, what's so funny? Just out of curiosity. And almost missed. He says, well, that's my mother up there giving a talk. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, but you're laughing at your brother's death? He says, yeah, my brother was enrolled at Lone Star College, but he never attended any classes. He was a drug dealer. And he was there at 2:30 in the morning to do a drop because he liked using the nobody gives a shit about a kid carrying a backpack in a parking lot at 2:30 at a fucking college. I was like, okay. And he was shot by a rival gang member that knew he was there because he set it up. His own fucking people killed him. It wasn't a random school shooting. It was a drug deal gone bad. And he's like, my mother's so anti-gun, she's got a damn Beretta in her purse right now. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, our family owns a salvage yard that they're always breaking into. We don't even call the cops anymore. We just shoot a gun out the back door and scare people off and run away. I was like, this is all a fucking lie. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I believe you because I've seen this shit. He's like, well, they have this computer lady that types out all these sad stories, and that's all she does all day is write all these sad stories and hands them out to people. And sure as shit, they get paid for showing up. I think she got paid $2,500 because she was a member or part of the association out of Houston. And so yeah, she's telling a sad story about her drug dealer son getting shot at 2:30 in the morning for $2,500. He says, we made more money off the fucking story than we ever saw from him as the family. So it's all bullshit. It's all a scam. So when somebody says, this is how they do it, this is how they get paid, this is the whole structure, believe them. Or more importantly, if you go to one protest ever, go to one you don't agree with. Blend in with the people. Dress the way they dress. Don't stick out. Listen to what actually happens. And whenever the shot callers, as I put them, the organizers, because when they take over the freeway or something like that, it's normally a shot caller that tells them, go to this freeway, because it's already been arranged with the cops that, okay, you'll shut down this one and we won't bother you, but don't shut off this avenue over here. Go, listen, watch, look for the moving vehicles. Houston actually has an ordinance, city ordinance, about the protesting poles, right? And on my old channel, I had one because I made one when they came up with that rule. It's right over there. It has to be a certain diameter, and it has to be made of wood or a pulpous material. They can use PVC, but we can't. They can use 1-inch dowel rods. We can't. You know, that's how stupid and pathetic it gets, that you can carry a damn 30-06 M1 Garand with a flag to it, but if you take a short stick this big, 1 inch by half an inch, it's illegal as hell, because it can be used as a dangerous weapon. So, excuse me, go to a fucking protest if you believe people aren't getting paid. Watch the big groups, watch the shot callers, watch the cops and how they interact. Film as much as you possibly can. But if you want to get into politics, don't go where everybody fucking agrees with you. Go alone to one protest you have nothing in common with anybody and don't believe in their political agenda. Go there and listen. Listen to the fucking whack jobs and what they actually say. What was that fucker? White guy ran for Texas governor. I can't think of his name. We were down at Discover at Green in downtown Houston, and he gave a speech. Some Irish fucking name, but they called him by a Mexican surname because his nanny or whatever, but I can't think of his name. But listen to what they're actually saying in a group when they think nobody's listening, when they think everybody agrees with them. And watch how fast that shit fucking dissolves. Watch what money they talk about. Look at how they're talking about using the police against us. I love my M1 flagpole. That's what made me think about it. Oh yeah, you can carry an AK-47 down the street, but you get a piece of wood that's bigger than 3/4 of an inch. Oh yeah, we got an issue. But if you've never been to a protest, if you've never seen that shit, and somebody's telling you these people are getting paid, and you don't believe them, well, you're either a complete fucking idiot or you don't actually know who your enemies are. And the people you think are your friends or think that are on the same side with you, they're actually not. So do a lot of research, ask a lot of questions. Don't sign up to be a member for shit unless you find out what organization they really are. That Patriot Front shit's the Fed boys, because they want people into the groups and talking with everybody. And if you don't believe people are getting paid to protest, to show up, ask yourself, why are all the damn rented vans and U-Hauls and shit showing up to a protest when every Bubba in his truck gets in there and drives down there on our own money with our own shit and our own accountability, and we're not getting paid for anything. But listen to what somebody's actually telling you, that the way it's happening, because 9 times out of 10 or 99.9%, they're actually telling you the truth. But anybody who tells you, I'm not paid to protest, and they're wearing a Moms Demand Action shirt, or fucking, what's that other one the other guy said? March for Our Lives. David Hogg. What was that fucking governor's? I was with it was some what do they call it? Irish name. I can't think of his fucking name right now. We were at a protest in Houston, and he came up to us, and he was talking to a group of us that were obviously armed, and he was a nice, happy-go-lucky guy. And he said, well, what if I were king for a day and passed a law saying no more guns? And I was like, well, that's when we cross the line, and good luck with that shit. You know, we already have them. What are you going to fucking do? Beto O'Rourke. That's it. Beto O'Rourke. The biggest fucking snake in the grass idiot you ever saw. And David Hogg, I actually shook his hand at a protest. He was a pretty neat guy. They can flip a switch. There's talking to you like you're a human, and then talking to the progressive at the same thing. David Hogg was better at it than most. He was a pretty good actor. But these people don't believe the shit that they're saying, but there's money in it. There's popularity in it. There's a shared political agenda. And they will never tell you, oh yeah, out of all these people that showed up, most of them are paid. And Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee does that shit with groups too. She may not actually pay the people herself, but I mean, if you ever hear the woman speak, she's fucking stupid as shit. And oh, you want this park cleaned? You want all the homeless people run out? Have a Sheila Jackson Lee event there. The cops will fucking take all the homeless people out. They'll paint the benches. They'll paint the benches. Did it again. Paint the benches, take out the trash, cover up the pool with the giant tarp, make everything look clean and nice. They don't give a shit about the fucking park, but they don't want the appearance on camera. That's not the way the shit normally is. But the groups, when they get together and bring their people there and show up with all their matching t-shirts, somebody's getting paid. Love y'all. Go fuck yourselves.